Are you new to baking bread? I'm going to show you how to make this multi-grain bread. We're going to make it in the deluxe stand mixer, proof it in the deluxe multi-cooker. This is such an easy bread, even for a beginner. Let me show you how to put it together and make your house smell like mine. We need 3.5 cups of flour, and in this recipe it does not give the instructions for the weight measures. So the proper way, if you don't have the weight measures, is to measure by taking a spoon into your bag. It actually makes the flour a little fluffier, so you get a more accurate measurement. So once you're full, you can then level it off. You will actually get up to 30% more if you dip your cup in there. So that's why you want to measure it this way. So go ahead and measure 3.5 cups of bread flour for this recipe. You want the water to be between 120 and 130 for this recipe. Now we'll add everything else. 3/4 cup of old-fashioned rolled oats. You're going to take 4 tablespoons of softened butter, and then a teaspoon of salt. I'm using sea salt. And then you need a package of yeast. I buy it in the jar and I just keep it in the freezer. So I know that 2¼ teaspoons is the equivalent of one of those envelopes of yeast. And then 1/4 cup of honey. This recipe is so delicious. I really hope you'll try it. If you don't have honey, I'm sure you could use maple syrup and that would be fine. And then our water. You do not need to bloom your yeast like you might in some recipes. Just put it all in there. And then the beauty of our deluxe stand mixer is that you can turn the dial to the knead setting. I have the dough hook attachment in there. So turn it to knead, push the button in, reduce it to 6 minutes. And press it again to start. It does all the work for you. Okay, it's all done. You can knead this by hand, but gosh, it's so much easier with this. I even use the stand mixer when I make my sourdough loaves and everything. It's wonderful for that. Take your ceramic pot. I've brushed it with some avocado oil. You can use any kind of oil that you like. And we need to dump it out of the bowl into the ceramic pot. Your bread needs to rise twice. So for this first rise, we're going to just put it in here, make kind of a mound. I like to turn it upside down. It means that the top has a little bit of the oil on there. And we're gonna proof this in the deluxe multi-cooker. So in my deluxe multi-cooker, I just added the stand that comes with it. You're not gonna add any water to it for this. You'll take your ceramic pot with the wire cradle and set it on top. You can use either the glass lid or the lid that, the other, standard lid that comes with it. And we're gonna use the yogurt setting, which will become kind of a proofing oven sort of. So go ahead and press onto the yogurt setting and reduce the time to just 30 minutes. Press and hold. Now here's the trick. If you don't want to hear it chime every 5 minutes, once the timer starts, go ahead and press and hold until you hear a beep, and that's it. It will rise twice as fast as if you were putting it on the counter just by using the yogurt feature to proof your dough. Okay, it's all done for the first rise. Just look at this. See how much it's risen already? Now we need to get it ready for the second rise. So I like to take it onto a mat. You can use a baking mat. I've just got a cutting board here. Just dust it lightly with flour and pull it out. Now, if you were gonna follow the instructions, you're gonna go ahead and wash your ceramic pot before the next rise. But I'm gonna show you what I do instead, and you'll be so happy that you did. We are gonna be brushing this with honey, and so it gets really sticky when it bakes. So I like to put parchment right in my pan to make sure that it doesn't stick when I'm ready to serve it. Okay, so just go ahead and flatten it out. And then I like to just kind of fold it onto itself, kind of like a letter. And you're just going to kind of just shape it slightly. You'll notice that you feel little bumps in there. That's the oat, those rolled oats that are in there. Okay, so it's nice and smooth now. So the bottom here is kind of bunched up. You can kind of pinch it if you want to. Set it into your parchment. If you're not using parchment paper and you're baking it right in the ceramic pot, you will want to oil it again, but I don't have to do that with parchment. All right, here's why you'll be glad that you took my parchment tip. We are gonna drizzle some honey. I warmed this in the microwave for about 10 seconds. This is what gets sticky with your bread so that when you're baking it, it can kind of be difficult to get out. So that's why I use the parchment. So we'll use the 2 tablespoons, and then you're just gonna brush it lightly with your pastry brush. It makes such a beautiful color, glaze, and flavor. And as it bakes, it'll kind of drizzle down the edges too. And then you'll take the 2 tablespoons of oats that you reserved and sprinkle it over the top. Doesn't that look gorgeous? If you didn't think that you could bake bread successfully, you need to try this. It's so simple and the flavor is incredible. Okay, put it back in the cradle and we head back to the multi-cooker. Same as before, just set it back in there. And don't worry about that paper, it'll be fine. We'll turn the dial, make sure it's on the yogurt setting for proofing. It's still at 30 minutes, press and hold. And then make sure you do it again to remove those chimes. The second rise is done. It's time to put it into the oven. You can see how much that dough has proofed. Take it off that wire cradle and then just pop it in the oven just like this. 350 degrees for 40 to 45 minutes. As an experienced bread baker, I'll show you one of my tricks. I like to take the instant read meat thermometer, I take the probe, and I pop it right into my loaf of bread. Once it registers at 200 degrees, I know it's done. So anywhere between 200 and 202, I know my bread's done. So even though my timer right now says I've got 30 seconds left, I'm still quite a ways off timer wise. So this is gonna help me get the best results from my loaf. When you put your oven gloves on, make sure you give them a quick tug, a good tug so your fingers go to the ends. Now your arms are nicely protected. I just hit 200 degrees, so we are ready to go. Oh, look at that. Just take a look. You're gonna let it cool in the ceramic pot for about 10 minutes, and then you'll remove it from the pot and let it cool completely before slicing, if you can wait that long. It's very easy to get it off the parchment paper. Just pull it all off. Slide it. So I have my multi-grain bread and homemade cinnamon butter. Let's go ahead and dig in. Now, if you're having people over, just have your loaf with a knife on a board and all your guests can just help themselves. I like to slice a loaf like this in half first, and then, look at this, isn't that a nice crumb? So good. And then set it on its side and you can cut it into smaller pieces. I don't know about you, but the piece that I love on homemade bread is the crust. How about you? I'm gonna take this piece here, try some of this homemade cinnamon butter. What a treat. Give it a try. I love homemade bread. I hope you'll try this and the cinnamon butter. Let me know what you think.